Okay, so here's an overview of corrective blend shapes in Maya. Now these are really handy because skinning can only get us so far in the rigging process. Now as you can see, I've got this guy skinned up. He's got a skeleton inside of him, so we just show that quickly, and you can see that that leg is moving like it is and it's skinned up with just a very quick skeleton and a bit of skinning here. Now the important thing is to get your skinning as correct as possible, but once it is, you'll notice that there's tricky areas such as this leg, where really what would happen is as the leg's coming up, it would push all that skin together and sort of squash it out a little bit, and we can have a much nicer seam that's creating quite an ugly looking seam there that we can fix with a corrective blend shape. So how do we do this? Well, we do this with a plugin, but you can do it manually. So with the plugin, what we need to do is we need to duplicate out that mesh and then just sculpt and fix it up into something that looks a lot better. Now I could keep working on that and make it even better, but you can see that it's already a lot better than this very pinched version. So once we've sculpted and actually corrected that off, we've just duplicated that off and just sculpted that and fixed it all up. Then what we do is we use the plugin, and the plugin will automatically spit out a blend shape which we can then use. Now this is the blend shape here, this is the actual blend shape that we use. Now it looks kind of weird, and that's why we use the plugin, because otherwise it's quite hard to sculpt this shape. And then what we do is we use this shape and we put it as a blend shape on the front of the chain of our original. So once that's done, we create a blend shape. I say front of the chain, so it's before the skin cluster, and once that's in there, we can just load it up and we can see that we can actually then fix that just by putting the blend shape on. Now later on, you can see that if that leg then comes down in the time slider, we'll switch that down, that we're still hitting that sort of weird look. So what we need to do is we need to automate that by animating this, and usually we do this with driven keys. So I'm just going to do it manually this time and just set a key on frame 40 when the leg is up, and then we're going to set another key frame when the leg is down. And as you can see, you can sort of see that we now have a corrective blend shape that works. And if we actually set this up automatically with a driven key, we don't even have to animate the blend shape. So that's corrective blend shapes. It's a good overview, and it's used in a huge variety of situations. You could use it for the head. When the head moves down, we want all this sort of stuff to squash and stretch out and blend out. Maybe in the shoulders, we're having troubles with the shoulders. There's lots of places where you can use this, elbows, but you do want to use it fairly. You want to get your skinning as good as possible first before moving on and doing this blend shape phase, because it can be quite laborious, and it's also, if you've got bad skinning, it can turn your rig into a real mess. So you really want to get your skinning nailed before you move on to this phase. But once you do, corrective blend shapes are just an absolute joy to get your skinning and deformation working properly.